Hello friends, Gobble613 here, and today I want to talk about my build that I'm doing. So this build, I'm playing a witch, and I'm using Facebreakers, so these gloves right here. So this build I would recommend to pretty much anybody. It's not the most hardcore viable build, because it's really strong, but it does have some big problems, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But first of all, the core part of the build is these Facebreaker strap mitts. So they make it so your armor attacks do like a bajillion more damage, and you get increased critical strike multiplier. Now, that's a lot of extra critical strike multiplier. Really great item, but the problem is you can't crit with your fists, so it's kind of a moot point. But yeah, so the whole point is to use these Facebreakers. So the main drawbacks are the fact that you can't use weapons, so you can't use a lot of skills. Like you can't use like cleave or leap slam or anything because they don't. You need a weapon to use those. So that's one, and then it has really small range. So you have to get right up in people's faces to smash their face. So I'm just gonna walk up the coast, so I can show off the skills and stuff. The skill that I use is hold on, load. Oh my goodness. Oh, that means there's. Oh my god, it's like freezing. Okay, anyway, the skill that I use is Infernal Blow. So am I on Merciless? Yeah. Okay, so I use Infernal Blow. So Infernal Blow is fantastic because it converts 50% of your physical damage into fire and physical, and if you kill a guy, they explode. So this skill is fantastic. It pretty much defends you against reflect because you're splitting your attacks in half. So if they have elemental reflect, then you hit them for half damage, and you only reflect half your damage. If they have physical, you only reflect half of your damage. So it's pretty fantastic like that. But the big thing about Facebreaker strap mitts is that your damage scales in a very odd way. You scale really well with flat physical damage bonuses. So I have Meganord's Girdle on right here, which adds 10 to 20 physical damage. So because I'm adding 930%, that's actually like 93 to whatever, like 186 damage onto my attacks. So flat physical damage, which you have to have on every piece of jewelry, is like required for this build to work. And then I also use Abyssus, which is 40 to 60 extra physical damage, which is crazy. And it also gives increased critical strike multiplier. Again, something that you can't effectively use. I did see that Gouda recommended that you could use Assassin's Mark to give yourself a flat 9%, or I think it was like 14% chance to crit or something, and make like a really convoluted crit scheme, but don't ever do that. It's a terrible idea. But yeah, so this build also conveniently, you might notice I have one life. This is also a chaos inoculation build, so I don't have to deal with any kind of chaos damage. Really strong in that respect. So let's take a look at the tree really quick here. So started at Witch and grabbed all the energy shield. Now, there are a couple really important parts about this, though. The first one, Chaos Inoculation. Chaos Inoculation means you don't have to worry about chaos damage. This is really important because chaos damage sucks. It's really annoying. And by taking Chaos Inoculation, you don't have to gear for chaos resistance. So you can use all your you can keep all your gear physical damage. So all you need to pretty much have is physical damage and resistances, and the rest of your gear doesn't really matter. So it eliminates like one of the things you need to look at for your gear. But then also, the best part about this is you can get Ghost Reaver, so you get Life Leech as energy shield, and Volpact. So by getting both of these things, it means that you can leech life using Blood Rage, so you don't take any damage, any chaos damage from it. You can leech life back. It feeds into your energy shield directly, and you get it instantly. Volpact counteracts Reflect because the Reflect and the healing, so the damage you take from Reflect and the healing happen at exactly the same time, and if one is higher than the other, then you only take the difference. So if your healing is just a tiny bit above Reflect, you don't take any damage from Reflect, which is great about this character. I can run any Reflect mod and map mod, and I don't have to worry about it, and if I really do feel worried, I can just slap in a Life Leech gem, and it's all good. So those are the big parts. Now you might notice this all the way down here. So, yeah, that's the only bad thing, is there's a lot of leveling up where you get nothing. So that happens for a really long time. The main focus of the build is I've got a shield, so I've got max block rate. So if I head over to my defense, I have 75% block and 27% spell block. Really good. So I'm like super defensive because I block most spells and attacks. So it's really good. But not only that, by getting all these block nodes, you get a lot of extra defenses from shields. You get energy shield here, you get elemental resist here, you get all the defenses here, and the 6% extra block. You can also pick up unwavering stance because I'm not going to die. What? Oh, get out. Yeah. Anyway, pick up unwavering stance, so you can't be stunned, which is great. And then you can't crit, so pick up resolute technique. Can't crit anyway, so now you can't miss any of your attacks. So, and then outside of that, yeah, just picking up armor, energy shield, lots of energy shield because you need it. And then this shit right here, infused shield, where you get more energy shield, that is bananas, and it's really good. Plus, this, with the changes in 1.2 when they added this cluster right here, this is insane because this is 10% spell block. So spells were pretty much the bane of this build, but with your extra spell block, you don't have to worry about it because you use Rainbow Strides. Great, this is a legacy version. It's not the good legacy version. It's not the great legacy version. It's the good legacy version. And so this gives a block chance applied to spells. So that's useful. And then you just cap out on your block, and it's all good to go. But yeah, so that's pretty much the build. You should be running Discipline, and I have Discipline, but my resistances aren't capped because my gear is not that good, so I've been running Purity of Elements, so it just keeps my gear capped. If I actually do put on Discipline, it gives me an extra, like, 1300 energy shield or something at the moment, and then you also run the aura Hatred. So Hatred gives you 34% of your physical damage as it's cold, and conveniently, you do a shitload of physical damage. So right now I'm at 8,000 DPS, I turn on my Hatred aura, and it brings it up to 11,000 because I had all this cold damage. The main things that I have linked, I've got Infernal Blow, melee physical damage, because you get more extra damage, like that's just damage. It combines with all your auras and everything. I have melee splash, so I can just hit whole groups of enemies, and I have multi-strike, because multi-strike's just really, really, really good. That extra attack speed is just crazy. I also have melee damage and full life, which I would use once I get a 5 link. And when I get a 6 link, I will use faster attacks, because faster attacks you just do like a bazillion damage. And then I can also swap out a gem if I need it. I can swap out one of them for Life Leech if I need to get the extra healing. As for gear, I just go for high energy shield. Shield with lots of energy shield, chest piece with lots of energy shield. Armor is also good because you're in melee range, and armor makes you tanky, because the problem with Abyssus is you take extra physical damage from attacks, which sucks. But because you're blocking, you just got to keep blocking, and you just, instead of HP flask, use armor flask. So you just keep an armor flask up all the time, and then you don't have to worry about it. So the trick here is I turn on my Blood Rage, so I've got Life Leech and stuff, and I also get Frenzy Charges for killing guys. So, look, I'm blocking. What are you going to do? He can't hit me because I'm blocking. I can't dodge attacks, by the way. So, like, I'm just blocking all these attacks, which is just fantastic. The coolest thing is you get a Frenzy Charge, which increases your damage by a lot. So I'm going to just find a guy. Quickly find a dude. Dudes, where are you? Bam. Let's kill some dudes. Die. Alright, so now I've got 13,000 DPS on this. My DPS is going to go up a lot when I actually get quality gems. So when I get level 20, and then I get quality Infernal Blow, quality melee physical damage, quality... Well, melee splash doesn't have more damage, but quality, and also adding in melee damage and full life. I can easily get this up to 22k damage without changing my gear. If I had faster attacks, if I actually had a 6 link, I'd be close to like 28k DPS without even changing my gear. So that's pretty crazy. Now the extra spells I actually use, you have a defensive setup, so I have 2 defensive setups. I have cast when damage taken, and I have temp chains and Enduring Cry. So if I actually take a bunch of damage, I can temp chains my enemies so they attack slower. Temp chains is awesome. It allows you to get out of really sticky situations, so I highly recommend using temp chains. And then I have Enduring Cry for the charges. A lot of people use Immortal Call. I actually would prefer just to keep the endurance charges because it gives you more defense, more physical damage reduction, and as long as you keep hitting stuff, you're going to keep healing, so it's just better to have the damage reduction. And then increased area of effect, so I hit a larger target. And then I also have a second cast when damage taken with a higher level that's linked with Molten Shell, so I get a really high, really powerful Molten Shell for a bunch of extra armor. So that's really good. And then finally, I think that's everything. Yeah, and then I'm just leveling up some gems, and I have a couple other things. But finally, I have Lightning Warp. And the reason I have Lightning Warp is just shit like this. Whenever I'm just in maps, it's just nice to be able to Lightning Warp around. So that's pretty much the build. It's pretty sick. The best part about the build is that when you punch stuff, it explodes. So I just like, you punch stuff, and they all explode. Because this gives extra gore. So, bam, explosion. And that's about it. There are some cons to this build, like, because you don't have healing potions, it's a problem with all Chaos Inoculation builds, you can't just heal yourself if you start to get really low. You kind of have to get away from that. So I'm going to replace this Mana Flask because it doesn't actually do anything. There is a way to counteract this, and I will show you. It's the secret. The secret that the Path of Exile gods will not tell you is, if I go into my stash, I don't know, where's my stash? No, Jade Flask. No, where are my flasks? Oh, I have flasks in here somewhere. I didn't prepare this ahead of time. I have flasks. Yeah, there we go. Quartz flasks. So quartz flasks are like god tier flasks, and nobody will tell you this, but they're amazing. So the reason why quartz flasks are so good is because it allows you to move through enemies. So if you open up a strong box, usually the enemies will crowd around you, and even if you run away, you'll get desynced back in and die. And this has happened to me too many times in Beyond and things like that, where I've just been like desynced out and die. But if you have Quartz Flask, you can walk through enemies, so you don't actually die. So you take Quartz Flask. I'm going to replace this Mana Flask at some point. I'm just using it now because it's frozen, and I'm just lazy. But trick with Quartz Flask is, because it allows you to move through enemies, you mix this with like extra charges or charge recovery, and increased movement speed. So then you can just like, boom, get the hell out of dodge and move through everything. Quartz flasks are really, really, really strong. So I never used them before. I always thought they were dumb. But when you have 2 movement speed flasks and 2 granite flasks, now obviously there are some things you can do. Like if you get into an elemental or flect map, you might want to take, I don't know, a rupee flask or something. But as long as you have a life leech gem somewhere, so I have one in my backpack that I can just swap in, so I can just like dump it in here. It's not so bad. What gets even better is this build can also do pretty much every map mod in the entire game. None of them really hurt it. All the things that are like, it regenerates energy shield slower, it's fine because you just punch shit. You know, mana regeneration, no problem, because in the tree you just take Mind Drinker, so you get 2% of your physical attack leech as mana, and because you do a lot of physical damage, you get all your mana back, so it's not really a big deal. And Infernal Blow doesn't even cost a lot of mana to start, so that's kind of nice. But yeah, so there's the only map mod that this build can't run is Blood Magic. So, because you obviously can't do Blood Magic. So, pretty much immune to map mods, which is really fun. Yeah, that's about it. Really strong build. I really like it. I have a lot of fun. It's really fun to just punch shit in the face and watch it explode, as you saw. So, and then you don't even need a weapon. No weapon. So because uniques, these uniques are pretty much required, you need to have Facebreakers. Meganords is the best belt you can get, although mine was corrupted to not, like, this. I didn't get a good corruption, it didn't change. And Abyssus. These are all the best items for the build, and Rainbow Stride. So, you can buy these. Like, Rainbow Strides are like 1 Exalted Orb, or they used to be 1 Exalted Orb when I bought them originally. They're cheaper now. I think it's like 15 Chaos or 20 Chaos. This one's more expensive because it's Legacy. This Meganords, some people, like, I bought this for 5 Chaos, so some people you can get it cheap. Facebreakers, no one even cares, it's like 1 Chaos Orb. Abyssus is like, nobody uses it because everyone's so afraid of physical damage, but it gives you so much armor that it's great. Now this build actually uses a build idea that I got on the forums. It's a Facebreaker CI Witch build, but the build tells you that you should be using Aegis Aurora, which is a incredible shield that makes it when you block, you get your energy shield back. You don't need to use that for this build. Just stock up on energy shield on a shield, and you're good to go. This shield, just the shield alone, gives me 2,500 energy shield. Like, that's crazy. Look at this number, like 2473, boom, 5,000. I might actually just take that over Aegis Aurora, because Aegis Aurora is really good. When you block, you get energy shield back, but that's mental. This number is mental. It's crazy. And I can still craft some kind of mod onto this shield, so it's not even done. So the shield gets even better. Or, I can't, sorry. That's lightning resist. What am I thinking? I'm stupid. But, yeah, so that's the build. That's how it works. It's, like I said, it's really, really fun to just run around and punch shit. It's immune to map mods completely. It does have trouble with, like, some bosses, but, like, look at this, like, bam, 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 and yeah, I don't know, it's just really fun. So, it's also pretty easy to get into as a newer player, because all you need to do is stock up on energy shield, and just play the game. The only thing that you're missing that's really important is on the skill tree. That's it. On the skill tree, you have to take Chaos Inoculation, Ghost Reaver, and Volpact at the same time. Don't take any of them before the other ones. Like, Ghost Reaver's not so bad to take early, but don't take Chaos Inoculation just because you can. Like, get the intelligence nodes, get down to here, and get your strength to here, and then take them all at the same time. Save 3 points because you don't want to just take one and not the others. Because Volpact is great, but if you don't have Life Leech because you're not Chaos Inoculation, because you need it to stop dying from Blood Rage, yeah. That's that. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time on the next video I'm about to make. Bye-bye! And also, just really quick, all credits for all of this build go to the guy. I'm going to link his build in the description. I'm just making a video describing it, so it's all him. Bye.